wonder how many times it took Peter to beat him. Even though Carter's not all there, I know a blue shell player when I see one. We get some nice
What? What does that mean? How do you do, fellow kids? I just kind of felt like that. I know a blue shell player when I see one. Okay, so there is no such thing as a blue shell player. Blue shell is not a character. Blue shell is an item. That's got to be written by AI. That's got to be written by AI. That needs to be the proof, right? How out of touch would you be? Because you wouldn't write the joke. If it wasn't AI, you wouldn't write that joke. Like, let's say you're writing a script and you don't know anything about Mario Kart. You wouldn't say blue shell players because you just avoid the subject. AI would say blue shell player, and the person going over it, which I think a person does go over it, that's why these videos more so get away with claiming they're not AI. If a person goes over it and they don't know anything about Mario Kart, they're gonna look over that. They're not gonna notice that it says blue shell player, or they're not going to notice that that's wrong because they don't know anything about Mario Kart. So this is No Villains Are Safe. No Villains Are Safe. Their whole deal was they started off with taking fictional characters, mostly from SpongeBob and Family Guy. I guess Simpsons is kind of the big one. I guess they did Rick and Morty too, but like cartoon characters, and saying what would their prison sentence be. That was their whole thing. We looked at how long would SpongeBob's prison sentence be in a previous stream. Basically, the videos amount to they recap an episode, add very little to it, and then they say the character would go to jail for X amount of years. But this could only last for so long because there's only so many cartoon characters. Like how long can you go, oh, what would this character's prison sentence be? Eventually you get into like lesser characters too, like how long would Peter Griffin's prison sentence be? That's 2.5 million views. You get a lot from that. How long would Meg's prison sentence be? She's a less popular character. It's going to have fewer views, so you start to get less and less as you go further. So you got to start mixing it up in some ways. So they started to mix it up with other numerical things. How much has Peter Griffin cost Quahog? Oh, he destroyed so much property. $86 billion. Ooh. How much money does Peter Griffin have? Just taking a character and putting a number next to them. Like that's their thing. But even that only goes so far. You can only do that for so long. So, you got to keep finding other stuff to do. So then it starts getting into maybe more like analysis content. Who's the worst dad, Peter versus Stan? Well, that's not a number one. There's something a little more there. It seems a little more analysis here. I know the thumbnails are disgusting. They're very gross. They look very bad. Let's see what happens when they just kind of try to talk about a show, which is what we'll see here with this one right here. What percent of Family Guy is actually cutaway gags? Now, I take a little bit of issue with the thumbnail because the thumbnail is a lie. The thumbnail is incorrect. So if you kind of only know of Family Guy through like cultural osmosis, or maybe you've seen a little bit of the show, but you're not super familiar with it. If you're not like an avid watcher of Family Guy, you'd be like, oh, Family Guy, that's that show that does all of the cutaway gags where they say this is worse than the time I was in an elevator with this celebrity, and then it cuts to the celebrity and they don't tell actual stories. They just do a bunch of cutaways. And like we think that's the perception of it. And like we think that's what it is because that's like the cultural perception of it. But then you sit down and watch an episode and yeah, there's a lot of cutaways. And yeah, those cutaways can not serve the story or just be random, that happens. But it's not 66% of the episode. 2/3 of the episode. That's the claim in this thumbnail. That 2/3 of the episode of an average Family Guy episode is cutaways. Even an episode that might be heavy on cutaways, it's not 2/3 of the episode. And the reason I consider myself a bit of a cutaway expert is that I recently put out what may be a little bit of a controversial video, a Family Guy cutaway character named Sneakers O'Toole. And I am of the opinion that Sneakers O'Toole should take his sneakers off. So much so that I wrote a 17-minute video about it. Now, this video isn't actually about how Sneakers O'Toole should take his sneakers off. I mean, it is, like I do say that in the video. The video is actually about how Sneakers O'Toole and how cutaways broadly can be used in the story of Family Guy and how they sometimes aren't used in the story. In the case of Sneakers O'Toole, the Sneakers O'Toole cutaway is related to the story of Family Guy. If you want to know why, you could watch the video. Anyway, this video kind of popped off. It did really well, probably because, or it's doing really well. It was only posted 21 hours ago. It's doing very well. for my channel, and I'm quite happy about that. I was featured in r/super serious Family Guy, super serious Sneakers O'Toole. They got me 11 minutes after I posted the video. Someone took a screenshot, went and posted it to r/super serious Family Guy. By the way, I was kind of aware that they might do this on this sub. I leaned into it a little bit with with the thing, so it's a little intentional. I love the top comment. They're saying that I'm him. It's true. I am this guy. I agree with him. Sneakers O'Toole should take a sneaker off. I love how you have a sense of humor about this. It's so fun. I'm honored. I love it that they put me in this sub, r/super serious Family Guy. Okay, but how do they make an essay out of that? ChatGPT, 11 upvotes. I guess that's not a lot of what the heck? I'm like the most anti-AI, at least the most anti-AI cartoon reviewer. Like, do you even know how you know that this person has never seen my channel? Yes, the guy who streams every week about how much he hates AI wrote the script with ChatGPT. And even me, I'm so nice even to know villains are safe, saying that their AI use is alleged and that it's not proven when I'm really sure that they are AI. I'm always saying that they're alleged, and I'm being like so careful to talk about this garbage villains are safe. Say that like, oh, well, like the AI, it's alleged, and this person who's never seen my content is like, how do they, oh, ChatGPT, obviously, if it's a YouTube video, it was written by ChatGPT. Like, no, man, actually, still people write YouTube videos. The main thing about this Sneakers O'Toole video is that this is a video that talks about the philosophy of Family Guy cutaways. So I want to compare my Sneakers O'Toole video to what percentage of Family Guy is actually cutaways. So no villains are safe. I think that they have AI assistants in their scripts. I do believe that. And I think they have AI assistants in their thumbnails as well. I think that No Villains Are Safe is aware. Actually, I know that No Villains Are Safe is aware that people don't like AI in YouTube videos, which is why they put in the description of their videos, these videos are made without AI. They say that their videos are not made without AI. It doesn't mean that it's true. People can just lie. That is a thing that can happen. I do think that they use AI assisted scripts, and I think that they have, and I do think that it's only assisted. I do think that an actual person does go in and edit the scripts. There's definitely parts of the scripts that have to be human made, because there would be more tells. There would be stuff like, it's not this, it's this. There'd be more mistakes, and there'd be all that sort of stuff. But that is all alleged, you know, to be fair, to be more fair than the person here who said that my video is ChatGPT, even though they literally have definitely never watched me. I will say that the AI use of No Villains Are Safe is alleged, but like, I think they did it. But what No Villains Are Safe are, for sure, is a content farm, and they are shallow. AI or not, these videos are garbage. They are filled with recapping. They don't say anything meaningful or remarkable. They are not good for you. Whereas my video, I think, has an actual deep thesis about what a story should be, about how a cutaway can be used in a story. Does it matter if cutaways serve the story? Does it matter? Should the message of a story be taken seriously? All of these questions are in my Sneakers O'Toole video. Despite it being very silly, Sneakers O'Toole should take his sneakers off. Yes, you wouldn't assume that this is like a more philosophical video from that sort of title. And a lot of people in the comments have been saying that. They're like, oh, I didn't think that this was going to be so deep. People like it for that. So let's go in and let's compare what I said about Sneakers O'Toole to this observation of cutaway gags. Already they're lying, because cutaways are not 66% of any Family Guy episode. Maybe the most percentage, if you went and actually put a number to it, the highest percentage would probably be one that has a really long extended cutaway, like one that has like a Conway Twitty or a giant chicken fight, at least a giant chicken fight that is actually a cutaway. Not all giant chicken fights are cutaways. Some of them just happen. That's not a cutaway. That's just a thing that happens in the show. Whereas the original giant chicken fight is Peter literally saying, I had a bad experience with a chicken, and it cuts away. That's a cutaway. Let's also see if it doesn't understand what a cutaway is, if it misidentifies what they are. Let's just get into it. Let's see what's going on here.
Here's what a normal scene from Family Guy looks like.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Look who it is.
What are you doing in Cleveland's house?
They've decided to shoot my movie in Quahog instead of Newport.
And here's a cutaway.
Why would they use that example as like the first one? Is that the most like normal Family Guy scene? Like, I guess they're kind of trying to invoke sort of a like that meme where it's like Peter like opening the door and it's like, holy crap, it's, you know, like insert random celebrity. Like that's like a common joke where it's like a Family Guy thing, because Family Guy is all about like referencing celebrities. So I guess it's supposed to be like, holy crap, it's Ryan Reynolds. Like that's like kind of the whole deal of what I guess. But I guess that's not really already that's actually disingenuous. So you're singling out an episode where he goes, oh wow, it's celebrity, but that's not most of the show. Is this celebrity. So I feel like a lot of this video is going to be me going like, okay, like popular culture is saying Family Guy is like this. Family Guy is all cutaways. Family Guy is all celebrity references, but it actually isn't if you watch the show. And by the way, Family Guy is a very flawed show. There are so many problems with Family Guy. Even good Family Guy, even the best Family Guy episodes. What I said about Sneakers O'Toole, I was talking about a season 5 episode, an episode that I think is very good in a lot of ways. But also, like, the writers don't really think that deeply about story. They think about, let's just try to make people laugh. And by the way, I don't think that's good. There are a lot of people who'd be like, yeah, Family Guy, they just want to make you laugh. I actually don't think that's good to do as a writer. I think as a writer, you can be comedy first. You can go, I want to make people laugh. But the thing is that good comedy and good story actually go hand in hand. A comedy show that has a deep story is funnier than one that doesn't. Now, that doesn't mean that every comedy show has to be super philosophical or has to have a super deep thing. But as long as a comedy show is saying something, it's going to resonate and it's going to be funnier in doing that. A lot of people will sometimes mix up my position and they'll think that I think that every episode should have some really deep message. I think that it should just have a message at all, or the message shouldn't be a certain level of shallow, because everything has a message in some way, but it shouldn't be like that shallow. And a lot of Family Guy episodes cross into being shallow. That's the problem with Family Guy. Not that they reference too many celebrities, not that they have too many cutaways. If you focus on these as flaws of Family Guy, first of all, you're regurgitating the most milquetoast internet opinion about the show ever, and also you're actually misrepresenting the show and what its problems are. And you're obfuscating the actual problems with the show. If you think that that's the problem with Family Guy, you're not saying what I just said that's the problem with Family Guy.
And here's a cutaway gag not too long after. Guys, I'm gonna drop the YouTuber voice for a second. I'm gonna level with you. What the hell was that? Yeah, they hardly ever.
Oh, that was weird. Guys, I'm gonna drop the YouTuber voice for a minute. He didn't sound that different.
The YouTuber voice for a second. I'm gonna level with you. What the hell was that?
I'm gonna level with you. What the hell is that? I'm gonna drop the YouTuber voice. I feel like okay, if it is an AI voice, they had it say that to obfuscate. Remember, No Villains Are Safe says we are not AI. So like maybe they put that in to be like, let's make it seem like it's not. I don't know. That's weird. That is weird. It could also just be a voice actor they hired. I really do think that it is more likely that No Villains Are Safe hired a voice actor. I know it's a little unpopular. People are saying the voice is AI. Guys, I know we hate them. I know they're a content farm, but like, it just doesn't make sense that a channel that's pulling this kind of views and is so desperate to convince you it's not AI can't shell out $100 a video for a crappy voice actor off Fiverr. I don't know. Maybe not. Like, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know the detail. I don't know what it takes to hire a voice actor. I voice my own videos. I write and voice my own videos. I would never not want to voice my videos. I have a good voice. I'm a trained voiceover person. Like, I know how to do this stuff. So I don't need to hire someone, or I don't need to use an AI voice. I have a good voice. So I don't know what it takes to hire someone to do a voice. But if they are using an AI voice, that's probably a way of them trying to obfuscate it. The only way that I think that they would use an AI voice is if they have used an AI voice the whole time and now they just kind of can't change it because it would be like too obvious. Because a changed voice, someone will be like, that's AI because it has a different voice from an earlier video, even if they could have just literally hired a new voice actor. Because they say that about Sponge Truths. Sponge Truths has a different voice in early videos as opposed to later videos. We have to remember Sarek Artman hired an actual voice actor off Fiverr and it was a hyper AI channel. Exactly, yeah. Like, I don't know. The voice actor is awful. Like, they're bad at it. I don't understand how they get work if they are a real voice actor. They're just kind of doing a Matt Pat impression without understanding why Matt Pat's voice makes you want to listen to him. That's kind of basically what the voice is. I literally hear no difference, but it's definitely let's not seem like AI even in the script. Yeah, I mean, like I do that in my beginning of my videos. If I have a video, even videos where I film myself, when I film myself, I want to show my face early in the video, in the intro, because it does prove I'm not AI. And I also, if I don't have my face in a video, if I have a faceless video, which happens sometimes, I just have some videos where it's like I don't need to sit and record, I don't need to set up a teleprompter and all this stuff to record every video. I'll put a drawn image and I'll put a credit to show that I'm not AI. Like I try to prove that I'm not AI, just to new viewers. If someone follows me, they know I'm not AI. I spend hours every week talking about how much I hate AI. Obviously I'm not AI, but like someone who's never seen me before, like my Sneakers O'Toole video, there's plenty of people who've watched that video have never seen me before. So I need them to know in the first 5 seconds that or in the first 20 seconds that I'm not AI. So that's why I do that. So maybe they're doing something like that, but they are actually hiding it. Because people call them AI all the time. No villains are safe. People call them AI all the time. So they're going to try to convince you that they're not. But just trying to convince someone that they're not AI doesn't mean that they're not AI, because everyone wants people to not think they're AI, whether they're AI or not AI, because people don't like to watch stuff that's made by AI.
The question is, though, how much of the show is actually cutaway gags? Well,
not that much, actually. I'd say it's like, if I were to say on average, off the top of my head, and this is coming from someone who watched like 5 or 6 Family Guy episodes in the past week in Modern Family Guy and Classic Family Guy to like test, I'd say 10 to 15%. That is a lot of a show to be cutaways, but you also have to understand that some cutaways specifically serve the story. Some cutaways are flashbacks to the characters. Also, what do we count as a cutaway? Is a TV gag a cutaway? Is the part where it says, "we now return to," is that a cutaway? Is a giant chicken fight a cutaway if it's happening in the moment? Is it a cutaway if like a random wacky character shows up but they're not important to the story? What actually is a cutaway? What do we define as a cutaway?
today, I'm going through every season of the show to get you
They're flying through these very fast. I cannot tell if this is in the proper order of what season.
an answer.
It probably is. Their editing is, oh, I can tell. Yeah, it is in the correct order. Their editing is actually, that's what makes No Villains Are Safe a more dangerous channel than Sponge Truths. They have fewer like silly mistakes. Like in Sponge Truths, we will laugh. They'll usually have like a couple of gaffes per video that we can laugh at. No Villains Are Safe. They got a tight ship over there. Like they're scary. That like they do trick people way more than Sponge Truths does.
So let's get started with the first season of the series. It's also the
So they're going by season. $10 that it's not every season. Pretty long video. I think they go through every season. I don't think they're disingenuous. No, they definitely go through every season. I can see it. Oh man, they got like math. Is it correct? Guys, it might be correct. Wait, look, I'm sorry, like spoilers, but like, let's jump to this. I've already seen it. We gotta jump to it. Look. Okay, so at the end they do so the thumbnail was a lie. Guys, I was so close, provided this is accurate. I don't know if this is accurate. Wait, I don't know if this is accurate. Hold on. There's probably fewer cutaways in the newer seasons because so many new seasons have like episodes that are like parodies, or like these like 3 stories we're parodying with Family Guy characters, and provided that those whole episodes don't count as cutaways at all, that will lower the percentage.
It's season 21 with 2.4%. Also the rest of the leaderboard. Now, it's been a hell of a battle in making the podium.
Provided any of these numbers are accurate, which as we know, No Villains Are Safe makes up numbers. We know this with the prison sentence stuff where it just will say like a fine of $1,000. But this is specific data. This is really precise. Did they actually, they might have actually gone through it, guys. I don't know. Like they might have actually, this might actually be correct. I have to check.
In third place, it's season 5 with 14.5%.
Season 5 is where Sneakers O'Toole is from. So yeah, they do this thing, this is like a content farm thing, where they have like a meter on the top, and it like
it's also
shows you how much of the section is like almost done. Why does it do that? What's the point of that? That's a retention thing, right? That's some like content farm nonsense. Mr. Beast does that for his ads from what I know. I know people do that with ads. That's just so people know how to skip through them. Likely a retention thing. If people know a section is about to end, they're likely to watch through. Oh, that's smart. That makes sense. So someone's about to click off and they see that the bar is close to the end of the section and they go, I'll get to the end of the section. And those little bits add up. That's so it. Man, you know what like sucks is like, that's actually a good strategy. I would never want to do that. I would hate that in my videos. If I had a stupid little thing in the top corner that has like a bar going up. I would hate that in my videos. I would not want that to be there. I would gladly give up whatever extra revenue I would make from having it. But again, that's like kind of the question, like, you know, like let's say me putting that is the difference between me making, I don't know, like $1,000 on a video. Not that I make that much on my videos right now, but like if you made like, would I put that stupid thing in the corner of my videos if I knew it would make me $1,000? I don't know, maybe I would. They can't possibly go over every cutaway in the whole show in 36 minutes. That would be a crazy task. Can we talk about how if AI didn't do this, that is a crazy task? Watching all of Family Guy and accurately determining the percentage of cutaways. I don't believe it. On a channel that posts like every 2 days, why would they do that? What motivation would they have to do that? If that did take human effort, I don't think they'd be willing to do it, because the other ones are like, haha, SpongeBob would get 400 years in prison because he like killed a bunch of clams in that one episode, and it's totally nonsense. So why would a channel that stoops to that then go, all right, guy, we're gonna pay you to watch the entirety of Family Guy just to do the percentage of the cutaways? Can we talk about how much of a task that would be, that job? Okay, Family Guy is what, 23 seasons? They got around 15, 20 episodes a season. You know what? I'll just look up the actual number. Let's be accurate here. How many episodes of Family Guy are there? There are 457 episodes of Family Guy. Thank you, AI overview. Okay, it's Wikipedia says it, so it is accurate. Let's say they didn't do the new season. Let's say 450. Let's just say 450. Okay, so there's 450 Family Guy episodes. They're 22 minutes long. That is 165 hours to watch the entirety of Family Guy. Just to watch it, not to take notes on the number, the percentage of cutaways. Now, we know for a fact that No Villains Are Safe underpays people in Brazil to do their art. To touch up their probably AI generated and then touched up to not look AI generated, allegedly, thumbnails. We know that. A guy sent me that, like a listing. A guy went out of his way and messaged it to me. Let me see if I can find it. Someone sent me this. It's like a Twitter thing where No Villains Are Safe. I think this was for Scribble specifically, but they're owned by the same company. They were paying I don't know what the currency is. $1,200 per month. Apparently that's like $120 a month. And I see 1,200. I didn't realize that it was. I thought it was 1,200. It's not. It's like 120 or 140 or something really low. Underpaying. It's like less than the Brazilian minimum wage. Underpaying someone who's probably down on their luck. So like they're paying someone less. But that's just for about, let's say it's for one channel, like they do, let's say this is just for Scribble and that's 10 thumbnails a month. Let's say they pay someone $12 an hour. Let's say they're that bad, the US equivalent of $12 an hour, already morally repugnant to do that for anyone, and then people who are evil will be like, well, it's either that or I don't know, whatever kind of difficult job would be available to them. Oh, well, I didn't start the problem. Well, you could also like pay them a living wage as well if you're going to pay them at all. It would only cost them $2,000, $19.80 to be exact, to pay someone $12 an hour to watch the entirety of Family Guy. If you were paid $12 an hour to watch the entirety of Family Guy, you would make $2,000 just to watch it. And then from there, see how this is already not making sense to get these numbers. That's what this data would cost, provided they got it in house, provided someone else didn't do this, provided why don't I just look up? Why don't we see what percentage of Family Guy is cutaways? Average Family Guy cutaways per episode. Okay, but that's just average by season. Oh, cutaways per episode. Well, someone did it. Someone's already done it, so that's probably gonna save you. But it's just numbers. Oh, this is only up to season 20. 4 years ago. It's outdated. Total 95, 117, 179. Like, obviously there is a correct answer. You can go, I guess what you would define as a cutaway is subjective. Like, maybe you don't consider TV gags a cutaway. If you have a specific definition of a cutaway, you can come up with a correct answer of the percentage of the show that is cutaways based on numbers based on math. But actually getting that number would take, well, first of all, 165 hours. I guess you could skip the episodes that don't have cutaways. What did it say in the Reddit post? There's 10? Okay. I guess that's fewer. Do we really think that No Villains Are Safe is dropping 2,000 to watch all of Family Guy? But you gotta do all the math. That's gotta be more. That's gotta add up to $3,000 in hours of watching. Who would do this if not for that? Okay, this video got 130K views. In ad revenue, it's about a 36-minute video. I have a video that's about this length that got about this amount of views. I guess I'll just share it. It made $1,500. Does Modern SpongeBob Hate Its Past is about exactly this length, actually. Does Modern SpongeBob Hate Its Past? Oh, it has 156K now, but it had about 130K. I believe this video made me $1,500. So this is 130K views. Now, it's gonna get more. This was posted how long ago? I don't know. Will it get 1 million? They don't always get 1 million. Actually, they're on kind of a downturn. Yeah, what's their average? 59K, 60K, 100K, 100K. 3 weeks ago, 63K. These won't go to 1 million. That's not really likely. They've gotten million view videos. Why Classic Peter? Whoa, this one that stole from Ave. See how this one has 708,000 and it's 4 weeks ago? If a video's gonna get like 1 million views, it usually gets there. Usually videos that get a lot of views, they do climb up for a while, and it also depends on how big you are. This video, across its lifetime, it could get 500K views. So like, let's say it's already made $1,500. If they're lucky, it'll give them 3 times that. Before taxes, before paying the editor, before paying the writer, if there is one, before paying the voice actor, if there is one. Let's give them the complete benefit of the doubt and say that they're doing everything above board. Person who would actually have to make this and watch every episode just for the purpose of marking the cutaways, it's just not realistic. Unless they were like, yes, this is gonna get us 10 million views and we are going to make $50,000 on this, provided you get that much from it. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes into, you know, how much money you get from views. They don't have a sponsor. I just don't think that the amount of labor that it would take to accurately give these numbers is something that would be worth the amount that you would get from making the video. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I can't believe how much I'm getting into. This is insane. The depths that I'm going through to explain all this. But isn't this nuts? Knowing them, they just saw the graph and stole it. Oh yeah, and with all of that that I'm just saying, can you just say, hey ChatGPT, what percentage of Family Guy is cutaways, and it gives you these numbers immediately? Because if that's the case, it's a no-brainer that they would do that. I wouldn't do that. I would just do a different video because I don't want to use AI, because then I'd be like, oh, I used AI to figure this out. Like, I would just feel wrong, you know, with it. Like, it's my whole thing. What if I watch the video and these numbers are actually just nonsense? Like, they're just lying. After all that, after all this math, I just did more calculating than anyone who ever worked for No Villains Are Safe did just now.
Doesn't mean the writers can't squeeze in a good run of cutaways, like the time Peter gets a ghostly message at breakfast time.
There's a message in my alphabet. Oh my God, Brian, it says ooh.
Peter, those are Cheerios.
In the first episode of the series, we also see Lois talk about how poor self-image is what causes most of humanity's problems. So we go back to the early 1930s to see what she's talking about.
My God, the framing is so obnoxious. So we go back to the 1930s. Just say it's a cutaway about Hitler. Oh my God.
How about something a little more subtle, though, like the time Peter was a Calvin Klein model?
I don't want to be just like everybody else.
But I don't want to be different.
Ah, this is gonna drive me nuts. What was the name of the bad guy from Tron?
Peter's had plenty
Oh, Family Guy.
of jobs, too. Remember when he was put in charge of the defibrillator?
Clear, clear.
Okay, so the formula of this video is take a season of Family Guy, repeat like a couple of cutaways, and then move on to the next season. Is that going to be the whole video? That's going to be the whole video.
Oh, you saved my life, Doc.
And okay, so like, let's say someone did all that research. Someone watched the entirety of Family Guy and calculated the percentage of how much of it is cutaways. And then what you do with it is recap a couple cutaways per season. And then just keep going. After all that, I just don't buy it. Something's not adding up. Something stinks, all right? This video is just a Family Guy funny moments. It's literally that. It's literally just if you do Family Guy funny moments, you like get demonetized, you know, you get copyright strike. And by the way, people do like make like Family Guy funny moments and then they monetize the channel and they make a bunch of money off of it. And then they like take down, the channel gets taken down and they put another one up. It's like a whole thing. There's a whole weird thing with like Family Guy clips. I don't know the exact ways that they do it, but why deal with the copyright strikes when you could instead frame it as an analysis video and then just have a narrator or an AI voice say, introduce all of the cutaways and then just play the clips in between. This is identical to a Family Guy funny moments video. Identical. This might as well be a Family Guy funny moments video. I think LS Mark did something similar. What did LS Mark do? LS Mark did a review of every Family Guy episode. While I think LS Mark was a little quick with some of his reviews of the episodes, I think the fact that he did every episode made him not go as in-depth into every episode as would have been good for the promise of such a video. I mean, Family Guy has a lot of episodes. I think LS Mark's video was a net positive. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's still nothing against LS Mark. I'm sure that was very hard. If that's what you're talking about, that he did it was every episode. LS Mark ranked every episode. No. I have nothing against LS Mark's ranking every Family Guy episode. He didn't just recap. Did he just recap? I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm pretty sure he had a criticism of the episodes. He criticized the episodes. He just went over every single episode. I watched that video a long time ago. I think my feelings on that video was he was very quick because of the fact that he went over every Family Guy episode. He just kind of had one or two things to say about every episode, unless it was like a key episode. I could, you know, I don't want to be disingenuous. I need to bring it up. 5 hours. How many episodes did they have at the time? 358 episodes. You'd need more than 5 hours to deeply rank 358 episodes. He definitely would have made it quick. Let's see. Let's see his review of this episode. Let's see how long it takes to review this one.
To the ground.
So it's Baby Not a... This is LS Mark. This is not an AI channel. This is a channel I like, by the way. I like it. I'm just trying to see how long did he review it.
Peter gets him.
Let's just skip through it. I don't need to know all this stuff. I know he criticizes the episode properly. About a minute and a half. Yeah, this is a man with two Brians. Yeah, he's already in the next one. Yeah, he gives every episode about like a minute or so. Like to do like a proper review of all again, I think this is a great video. It's fine, you know. I'm not reviewing every if I were to review every Family Guy episode, I probably would want to do it where I would deeply talk about every episode a little more. But also like that's also not realistic. Like if he did that, the video would be 20 hours long. So it's like just don't do it at that point. Like I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't rank every Family Guy episode. So it's like, you know, what do you want? These are great videos. He does a great job. He's a good YouTuber. So this is not like that at all, because LS Mark did not just recap the whole show. He had opinions.
I've had my share of disappointments too. Oh, I know just how you feel.
It's a girl.
Hey, can you check again?
Poor Meg. So that's a little snapshot into the first season of this.
Poor Meg. Like, is that a criticism? Is that commentary? That's the point of the cutaway. Poor Meg. I mean, you could talk about how Meg is treated badly. You could talk about kind of the sexist roots of that, of why Meg is treated badly. Just, you know, I criticized Seahorse Seashell Party in my Sneakers O'Toole video. I said that Meg should have, you know, they had a lesson of an episode where they told Meg, you should just let your family abuse you. And I thought that was a bad message. So I said as such.
Get a grand total of 55 cutaways, which is nearly 8 per episode. While we got through a few short ones there, the actual show average of cutaways is 20 seconds per gag.
The actual show average is 20 seconds per gag. Oh, so sneaky. There's our answer.
So, while we got through a few short ones there, the actual show average of cutaways is 20 seconds per gag.
You are presenting this as hard data. You can't give me an average. You're cheating. No villains are safe. If you're gonna promise a video, you need to do that video or don't. And again, you can skirt it a little. Like I just said with LS Mark, I'm like, okay, like LS Mark didn't, you know, he said ranking every Family Guy. I guess he said ranking LS Mark, to be fair. Maybe LS Mark's whole point is he was ranking the episodes, not reviewing all of them. Like, I think with LS Mark, like, while the ranking every Family Guy episode, it's not exactly the promise of the video. I remember as I was watching it, I was like, oh, he's really flying through. But maybe it is, though. Like, you know, I can give see how I'm giving so much leeway to LS Mark? Because I can tell that there is so much behind it that's like, he's trying to entertain you. He's trying to actually talk about the show. You know, whereas with No Villains Are Safe, because they're a content farm, I know that this is just about getting people to sit there and stare at it. Because of that stupid thing in the corner, this stupid corner thing that's like retention maxing. Like, you know, but with Ellis Mark, it's like, okay, like it's not fully the promise of the video. It would be cool to see a video that's actually like 5 times. Well, could you even do a video that's 5 times longer? I mean, what's the maximum? I know there really isn't a top end of how long a YouTube video can be, but for these cartoon reviews, I think Quentin Reviews said this, where you don't want them to be more than 12 hours or 8 hours, because there's something where like if you get a copyright claim, it just deletes the video if it's over a certain length of time. So like these people who do these mega reviews, they actually are limited that they can't do more than 12 hours. And also there's just the logistics of it too. Like making a 5-hour video is already a daunting task. Making a 20-hour video is crazy, you know, if it would even be, it could be even longer than that. You know, if you deeply analyzed every single Family Guy episode, it's really like, if you go to LS Mark's video, I could reasonably see someone clicking on it and being like, okay, this guy's gonna have a few things to say about every Family Guy episode, and that's okay. And they're not gonna feel like they were cheated out of the promise of the video. If you say what percentage of Family Guy are cutaways and you are promising that objective number with that premise, but then you try to sneakily skirt around it by saying,
while we got through a few short ones there, the actual show average of cutaways is 20 seconds per gag.
the average is 20 second per, it's so sneaky, 8 per episode, 20 second per gag. The actual average, like just really quick. And then people who aren't paying that much attention, it's like, oh yeah, 20 second per gag, and they just go with it. Or they're already this far, they're 2 minutes in. They're like, yeah, I guess that's the best percentage we're gonna get. And then this content farm gets to skirt actually doing anything even remotely meaningful. And they just get to continue recapping cutaways. And also, that's an average per episode, right? They said 8 per episode. It's not exactly 8. Family Guy Season 1 wouldn't have exactly 8 cutaways. This is all nonsense. This is just as bad as the prison sentence. Are you kidding me? Unrelated, but the Season 1 poster art is so charming. It really is. Look at how many things are like not modern Family Guy. Look, Chris has the earring, Stewie with the like gun, Brian with the martini. I guess Brian's still like an alcoholic, but like Brian with the martini, that's more early Family Guy imagery. So that's what it was. So that's like, so it just skirts everything. Don't do the video then. If you can't answer the question, don't do the video then. This means nothing. It's not 12%. The number is not 12%. It's a different percentage. To be fair, 8 cutaways per episode with 7 episodes would get to 56, not 55. They didn't even get that right. You're so right. 8 times 7 is 56. How did I not notice that? Too many numbers, man. And you know what you might say to this? Well, the number doesn't matter. Well, then why are we watching this? Why are we getting the number then, if the number doesn't matter? If the point is just a general amount of cutaways to have kind of an idea of how much of the show is cutaways, okay, maybe that's your video. But what do you have to say about that? Because I didn't do all this number nonsense in my Sneakers O'Toole video. Like, I didn't need to do this. So in my Sneakers O'Toole video, I said, oh, in the modern episodes, there's too many cutaways, and in those cutaways, they serve so little of the story that they don't help the story. I said that. I didn't have to go in and see the percentage and the numbers and have the numbers be inaccurate because I cheated and I went, ooh, it's an average. Ooh, it's an average. Like I didn't need to do that. I just made an actual point. I just made an actual prescriptive statement about Family Guy and the show and its cutaways and what that means. That is what I did in this video. And that is why this is a good video and why this is content farm garbage. Because all this is, when you have no substance in your actual video, you default to saying, ooh, look at these big numbers, because people think that numbers is substance. This is why ranking movies, saying that like a movie is like a 10 out of 10 is stupid. Don't do that. Don't say that movies are 10 out of 10. Tell me why a movie is good with your words. Numbers mean data. They mean data. They mean objective things. If you are using a number to decipher something subjective, you are using the number incorrectly. Unless you're using that number to then make a statement. Like if you did go with Family Guy and you said, okay, Family Guy has this percentage of cutaways, and you said it correctly, and then you made the statement saying, oh, I think Family Guy has too many cutaways, here's the math to back it up. But even with that, you don't even need the math. You can just make a statement about how Family Guy has too many cutaways. We already know that Family Guy has a lot of cutaways, that there's a lot of moments of the show where it cuts away and it doesn't have anything to do with the story. We know this already. So what do you need the number for? You can just make the statement like I did in my video that I just did on the subject.
See what the second season has in store for us. What better place to kick us off than with the one and only Ernie the Giant Chicken?
Here's a coupon.
Well, I don't take coupons from Jack.
Okay, but are you going to count that the giant chicken cutaway is longer? Because the giant chicken cutaway is a much longer cutaway. So if you're just saying they average 20 seconds, well, okay, most cutaways average 20 seconds, but Giant Chicken's Georg is an anomaly and should not be counted. Like, what are you going to do? Like, the Giant Chicken is a longer cutaway. You're just going to say, oh, well, they're like, I average 20 seconds or whatever. Like, do you think that the cutaways that might be shorter make up for that? Because maybe in some sense they can and get yourself close. It doesn't work if you have a long cutaway. Maybe they'll address that. Let's see if they say, okay, the Giant Chicken cutaway is so long. Oh, I've been saying, you know, in season 1, I said 20 seconds per average because the cutaways were all pretty close together in season 1. But the Giant Chicken one, I mean, that's like a minute long, you know, so we gotta do, let's see if they do that. Let's see if they do that.
When Peter isn't worrying about giant chickens, he has to deal with the horror of finding a dead guy in his soup.
Skipped over the giant chicken. They are not saying that they're gonna count it differently. Let's see if at the end they rectify that, but they probably won't.
Waiter, there's a dead guy in my soup.
But of course your soup is gratis. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Thank you. Now your turn. Waiter, there's a dead guy in my...
Just, it's literally just taking the jokes. It's literally, this is the same as a Family Guy Funny Moments compilation. It is exactly the same. It is as much stealing from Family Guy as just putting in the clips with nothing else added. I do believe that. I do not see a moral difference between the two. I don't care that it took more effort to edit. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me. You are just, as far as substance goes, you are just stealing from Family Guy. You should send all of the ad revenue that you make from this video to Seth MacFarlane's doorstep. Technically, it wouldn't all go to Seth MacFarlane. There's residuals that would go to the entire team. But you know what I mean.
Peter, that just happened 10 minutes ago.
That's actually one of my favorite gags in the show. Anyway, this season of...
That's actually one of my favorite gags on the show. Is that commentary? I like that. I think that's a good... Why? Why is it a good gag? What is it about it? What is it about that gag? Do you want to explain how they are, even in season 2, when the show hasn't even been around for that long, they were already making jokes about how the show has so many cutaways by doing a meta joke where Peter says, remember that time, and it's a thing that literally happened in a scene right before? Oh, you don't want to talk about that actual story observation? You're just going to say, that's one of my favorite cutaways because you arbitrarily just chose one that people would like and said that to make it seem like you aren't just showing us cutaways.
The total runtime for the season is 483 minutes, and 53.6 of those minutes are gags, which comes out as 11%.
Notice that in the first season, they put in the whole 20-second per gag because they had to. They needed to. They couldn't, they would be too dishonest. It would be too obviously dishonest. In the first one, they go 20-second per gag. An average of 20-second per gag. They threw it in there a little bit. But now, they don't have 20-second per gag. Because, it carries over from the first one. But they just don't want you to remember. This is slimy. This is so dishonest. There's nothing worse than a liar. There's nothing worse than a liar. Someone who just tries to get one over on you. You know? And as someone who, like, my whole thing is just, like, make good videos, like, try, or like, maybe you don't think they're good, but, like, you know, maybe you don't like maybe you hate my videos. I don't know why you watched this much. If you hate my videos, thanks for being here. Thanks for the hate watch view. My whole, like, thing is, like, honestly, make good videos. Like, do a video where you put in the work, you know, like, you do all the stuff, you know, you put in the labor, you value your labor towards the video. And the things that I have to do, I introspect, I have something to say about this stuff. I got a degree in it, in writing. I worked for this stuff. And to see something like this just skirt all of that and do all of the tricks and the dishonesty and the sneakiness, it's just disgusting. It's just gross. It's just gross. And they did not mention how the giant chicken is an anomaly. They did not mention how the giant chicken is a longer cutaway than usual. Maybe they'll do it later with like Conway Twitty or something.
That means that only 34 minutes of that is for cutaways. Works out to being 6.7% of the season.
Again, 34 minutes in the sense of they are calculating it based on every cutaway being 20 seconds.
Nearly a whole half less after season 3. Anyway, it starts strong.
Okay, so all right, here we go. So they just said nearly a whole half less. But why does that matter? I know it's 6-7%. Okay, why does that matter? That it's a whole half less. What's different about season 3 as opposed to season 2? Why it has such a lower, like, even though the numbers aren't accurate, anomalies wouldn't be enough. Like maybe the cutaway, maybe there's some shorter cutaways in season 2 and longer cutaways in season 3. Actually, you know what? I think that is a problem. I think we don't know. You know what? I don't even want to be that nice about it. Like season 3 could have much longer cutaways. And season 2 could have had much shorter cutaways. Obviously, the giant chicken was a long cutaway. But if season 3 has much longer cutaways, because they're different, the writing styles change. Maybe by season 3, they were like, yeah, we could do longer cutaways. You know, but there's fewer cutaways per episode. That would probably make sense if there's fewer cutaways, because they're only counting it by amount of cutaways. If there's 102 cutaways in season 3, I don't remember how many was. I'm not going back, but there would be more cutaways because the higher percentage, and they're only counting it based on. This is melting my brain. So the reason why this is such a poor way of determining how many cutaways is that if the cutaways in season 3 are longer, not even just by coincidence, just because the writers had a different approach with how they approached cutaways, then there actually could have been a higher percentage of cutaways in season 3 as opposed to season 2, just based on amount of cutaways. But because they are dishonestly counting them, we actually don't know the real number at all. And beyond that, let's say it is accurate. Let's say they did do this accurately. It was actually 11% in season 2 and 6.7% in season 3. Let's say that was true, which it isn't, but let's say it was true. You are missing an opportunity to comment on that. Why does season 3 have a lower percentage of cutaways than season 2? What happened in season 3? Was season 3 more story driven? Did they try to have fewer gags? Did they respond to criticism? What's the reason for that? What is the change? Just presenting a number and saying it's different is not enough. You have to actually say why that difference matters. I'm not taking my sneakers off. Hey, take those sneakers off. Take them off, I said. Is this, was this a TV gag or was this a cutaway? No, I think it was a cut. Oh, that's another thing I just realized. So this scene is, I think the context is they were saying, I think it is a cutaway, because I think they said we were watching National Geographic. It wasn't they were watching a TV and it said we now return to National Geographic. They didn't even mention TV gags. Are they counting TV gags as cutaways? Because in a lot of ways they are. Like TV gags, I guess they aren't cutaways because someone doesn't set them up, but a TV gag can be the same as a cutaway in the sense that it's just showing you a thing that's not related to the plot. They're very similar, TV gags and cutaways. TV gags are actually almost never used for the story. They're always like, maybe not always, there might be times where they are, but they're almost always not relevant to the story. Whereas a cutaway, it could be either or. I don't think they count TV gags. I feel like they would have counted one by now. I'm pretty sure they're not counting TV gags.
I met Marge Simpson and
wait, this isn't a cutaway. Is this a cutaway? I don't think this is a cutaway. This is the infamous banned or edited. This is the one where Quagmire assaults Marge Simpson, and then they have a thing where it cuts away to the Simpsons house, and there's like a whole thing where like Quagmire like kills the Simpsons or whatever, and it's like because Seth MacFarlane doesn't like the Simpsons. I'd count it as a cutaway, one that's in really poor taste. Oh, I think it's in very poor taste. I'm just saying, is it a cutaway or not? It would be happening in real time. I guess it's a cutaway because it cuts away from the main story. But is the part on the bottom a cutaway or is it just a gag? Because the story is happening. Also, do you count it as a cutaway if they edited it out? You know, like, are they going to acknowledge?
Or like the time Quagmire met Marge Simpson, and I don't even know how to say it. You guys know what's coming, which is a poor choice of words.
Well, I just take a lot of pride in what I do.
Glenn just freaking kills all the Simpsons in that cutaway. Dark, but funny. Just like when Stu...
Oh, of all the places to have a take, are you serious? You give like no opinions throughout the video, and you go out of your way to defend that cutaway? I guess I just called it a cutaway. I guess I have to concede it's a cutaway. But you know, okay, but like, let's actually point this out. They didn't watch the show, guys. They didn't watch the show. Like maybe AI wrote the script and AI arbitrarily decided, oh yeah, that's like controversial. So the AI acknowledged it was controversial. It went, ooh, that's messed up, but funny because AI doesn't understand context. Maybe the AI just arbitrarily decided that. I will say though that... Is this the right time to make this point? I guess so. Again, we don't know if no villains are safe is AI, but I think that this is a good time to talk about, just in case. I think I should mention the relationship between AI and consent. Generative AI is fundamentally anti-consent. There's the obvious big reasons: generating a person doing something that they didn't do, that perhaps is something that you want them to do, and you generate them doing that thing. That's like the main thing. But AI is also anti-consent in the ways that it forces itself on you. Like, for example, let's say No Villains Are Safe is AI. If they are AI, they don't want you to know it, and you're watching them, and now you're watching AI when you didn't want to. I wanted to watch a person, but now I'm watching you because you used AI to get me to watch you. I could consider that a violation of consent. It's not as severe a violation of consent as the first thing. I'm not saying that it's as bad as assaulting someone, but like, let's be real here. Taking this video and lying and being dishonest to get people to view it for your own personal gain, is that not in any way toying with the idea of consent? Watching this thing? The whole point of this is, I said this one time where, I think I said it about No Villains Are Safe, I might have said it about Sponge Truths, but with channels like this, with No Villains Are Safe, even if they aren't AI, No Villains Are Safe, if they could post a black box that hypnotizes you into watching it for 36 minutes, and then they get the ad revenue, they wouldn't make any of these videos. They would just post that. I wouldn't. I would want to make my videos in that scenario. I mean, I guess, you know, in the extent that if I posted the black box, I couldn't also make videos, I guess maybe I would do. I mean, I guess that would be morally wrong because you'd be making somebody waste their time. So I probably still wouldn't do it in that regard. But if it like hurt no one, I guess, like, but like if they could just do that, it's just whatever it is to make someone stare at the screen and give them ad revenue. That is the only purpose of this. It's the only reason that it exists. And so when that's your goal, you're really going to do whatever's necessary to just keep someone watching. And would someone who has that attitude, who has so little regard for the person that they are interacting with, who is viewing their content, a person like that also saying, oh, I think that Marge Simpson assault joke is funny? I think there might be a correlation there. Huh, it's funny they didn't mention Sneakers O'Toole, I just realized, because we're past season 5. Yeah, no Sneakers O'Toole. It was before the meme, right? It was like this came out 9 days ago. It probably was in production before that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Okay, so they go out of their way to mention Conway Twitty. They're not going to say it's an anomaly, right? Okay, again, we know that there's a Conway Twitty in there, but they're not counting it as an anomaly.
If that wasn't controversial enough for you, then here's the time Goofy got sent to HE double hockey sticks. So,
guys, here's the time Goofy got sent to HE double hockey sticks. Guys, it's because they know kids are watching. They say like frackin' too and stuff like that. And like, I don't really curse in my videos. I'm just not really a cursor. I would never say HE. I say hell. I don't say HE double hockey sticks. I just don't really curse that much. It's not even like a YouTube thing because I don't think it would really even affect my videos. I just kind of have the habit of I'm just not a big... It's funny because I curse in real life. Just as a content creator, I just don't really curse. But that's so because kids watch. which makes the whole Marge Simpson thing from earlier even more messed up.
Man, what is it with pizza places and not being able to make a salad? Sorry, not SpongeBob video. Salad.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna want to know
What was that? A salad.
And not being able to make a salad. Sorry, not a SpongeBob video. Salad.
Okay.
Did you hear that laugh? Salad. Would an AI voice be able to say salad? Oh, someone typed salad with 2 A's. So like if you had an AI say it, you could just spell salad wrong and it would try to pronounce it salad. The thing that makes me think that the voice is AI there is the wheeze at the end. That was so weird. I'm still inconclusive on if it's an AI voice. I think the narrator might be human. They're an awful narrator. that much is true.
Hey, 4 pizzas. I want to know you've got to stick it right.
The legs go all.
Oh my god, the whole
Sorry,
bit,
not SpongeBob
man.
Video. Salad.
Okay.
Look at this. Is this the entirety of the pizza place cutaway?
Salad.
Okay, 4 pizzas and a salad. First, you throw in the whole head of lettuce. Now, what else?
I got a can of whole black olive.
Keep them whole. You're gonna want to know you've got an olive in your.
There's cuts in the middle. The cuts in the middle are to avoid copyright. If you let the clip play continuously. So that's so sinister because they cut it a little bit in the middle and that allows them to skirt copyright. But I'm sure the part they cut out was just such a small, like, it was probably him saying like yes or no or something. Like it was such a small thing they cut out in the middle. And it's just so they can play the entire bit in its entirety. Yes, this bit is very funny. Hello, every pizza place. Like it's a funny bit. But your script is AI though? The script is non-existent. They're just playing cutaways. I could buy that the script is an AI. What would even be the point? They're just putting in the episodes.
Your mouth.
How about this carrot?
1 thin slice.
Now, should we put it in a bowl?
Put it in a lasagna tray. And make sure to stick it right on top of the pizza so it stays nice and warm.
If you guys want a snack, forget.
Wait, they did. I'm almost mad that they didn't put the last part. If you're gonna steal the joke, steal the joke. How do you steal this whole cutaway and not have the part where he answers the phone and he says, hello, every pizza place? How do you not steal that part? If you're gonna steal the joke, just steal it. I don't even understand. You have to be a certain kind of not understanding anything about humor to not steal that joke.
We're at that point in the show's history where the quality is starting to dip. So while we have.
Wow. Whew. Sorry, I'm freezing from these cold takes. Oh, Family Guy season 10 is when the quality started to decline. Wow, do you have any analysis of what the show did differently around this time that made the quality decline? Or are you just like kind of saying that because that's what everyone says about this era of Family Guy?
Take a look at the time a centipede tries to fit in with the millipedes.
Let's try on 1,000 shoes.
Wait a minute.
Cut. They cut in between when he started counting. Oh, they cut towards the end to where he says you're an imposter. Why do that? Just say it's a centipede fitting. Okay, whatever. Well, because I guess because they're stealing the joke. So they want to show him doing all the counting because that's the joke. But they can't do the whole thing because they don't have the rights. So they can only do 6 seconds or else they'll get copyrighted. Family Guy, the actual show, is able to show the full thing, which is the full joke.
I mean, he's like a quarter of your size, dude. You don't need to count every leg to know he's not got as many as you.
Oh my. Oh, we need the CinemaSins tier. Wait, what the heck? Is this an AI background? Why is it the Peter Griffin couch, but the picture is, I think that's Brian's girlfriend Jillian, but she's not in her regular outfit? I don't know. They really try to not be AI. I feel like the background would be AI, but what the heck is that? Why is there a picture of this character? This is a long cutaway, by the way. They make a joke about it where they say, where Peter in the next scene, he goes, I don't remember why I was sad. It was such a long cutaway.
Don't look silly.
Want to know something that's not a laughing matter? How Chris would be if he was a school.
He doesn't acknowledge that, though. He doesn't acknowledge that it's a long cutaway, that Peter says it was a long cutaway.
If you hadn't noticed, I think the writers have tried to go a little more edgy this season. They've also.
Oh, is that actual commentary? The writers tried to go a little more edgy this season? Is season 14 particularly more edgy? Or did it just happen to pick really edgy cutaways to just fit a narrative so they can say something? I feel like Family Guy's always pretty edgy.
You know that Chris has always been a bit of a weird cat, but I didn't think his New Year's resolution was away from
I
his...
can't believe this is actually the video. This is even worse. I actually thought that it wasn't going to be this bad. It's actually just a Family Guy Funny Moments recap. I cannot believe that. I actually thought going in, even with this, I don't know why this channel, they try so hard to make you think that they're not AI, that even me, I am critical of everything like this. I go into it and I'm like, oh, well, like, this is the more professional channel. Like, I'm gonna have to be more fair to this one. And no, it's just complete garbage. Literally just Family Guy Funny Moments compilation. And again, like, I just did a video on cutaways, on the actual stories that cutaways tell, how they serve the story. I did all of that in a 17-minute video, and you're getting none of that here.
Season 15 actually has a little uptick in cutaway quality compared to recent seasons. Still a little edgy, but that's Family Guy, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you complaining about edgy cutaways?
Glenn just frickin' kills all the Simpsons in that cutaway. Dark, but funny.
Glenn just frackin' killed, again, frackin', so that it'll still get recommended to kids. Still funny, but dark. No villains are safe when he sees assault. Dark, but funny. No villains are safe when they make fun of Walt Disney being an anti-Semite. This was a joke about Haiti, like Godzilla and Haiti. Yeah, it's a little rude. Sure, it's a little edgy of a joke. Coachella. Yeah, season 14 is a lot more edgy with their Coachella joke. I was really offended. Season 14 is so edgy. Oh, but the assault joke that was so bad they had to edit it out. Oh, that's just dark but funny. See what kind of observations you end up making when you don't actually have anything really to say. You just aren't consistent. Because you don't care.
I wonder how many times it took Peter to beat him. Even though Carter's not all there, I know a blue shell player when I see one. We get some nice
What? What does that mean? How do you do, fellow kids? I just kind of felt like that. I know a blue... Wait, what the heck does that mean?
To beat him. Even though Carter's not all there, I know a blue
Roan.
I wonder how many times...
Okay, so it's talking about a cutaway where Carter's like brain dead or something, and Peter's like, I can beat you in Mario Kart? I don't remember this episode. And he says,
I wonder how many times it took Peter to beat him. Even though Carter's not all there, I know a blue shell player when I see one.
I wonder how many times it took Peter to beat him. Even though I know a blue shell player when I see one. Okay, so first of all, they are playing Mario Kart on a Super Nintendo. Super Mario Kart did not have the blue shell. It was introduced in Mario Kart 64. Also, there is no such thing as a blue shell player. Blue shell is not a character. Blue shell is an item, and it's an item that any character can get in an item box depending on their placement. The most that you could say about that is that they're a player who strategizes by getting in a certain placement so they can get a certain item, but that doesn't make any sense because the blue shell is not a good item to get because it goes up and it hits the person in first place. Like, there are some Mario Kart strategies where you try to stay in a lower place so you get like a bullet bill or lightning and you like carry it with you and it gives you an advantage. It's called bagging. Wrong guy to watch this. Mario Kart expert over here. I play Mario Kart like every day. So like wrong guy to watch this video for you. No villains are safe. That's got to be written by AI. That's got to be written by AI. That needs to be the proof, right? How out of touch would you be? Because you wouldn't write the joke. If it wasn't AI, you wouldn't write that joke. Like, let's say you're writing a script and you don't know anything about Mario Kart. You wouldn't say blue shell players. You just wouldn't, even if you knew nothing about it. It wouldn't happen because you'd just avoid the subject. You wouldn't try to say something about a game if you didn't know anything about it. You would just skip past it. But AI would say blue shell player, and the person going over it, which I think a person does go over it, that's why these videos more so get away with claiming they're not AI. If a person goes over it and they don't know anything about Mario Kart, they're gonna look over that. They're not gonna notice that it says blue shell player, or they're not going to notice that that's wrong because they don't know anything about Mario Kart. but they wouldn't write it in the first place. They just wouldn't edit it out when AI writes it. I'd say that is the most damning evidence that no villains are safe as AI so far. Not to say that there was no evidence before, but that's got to be like the most damning evidence. I'm so glad we caught that because I'm skipping around. I could have missed that so easily.
The very first cutaway of the season is pretty strong and highlights just how pushy Pac-Man can be, especially to his lady counterpart.
The first cutaway is pretty strong. It highlights how much how Pac-Man can be, especially to his lady counterpart. Dude, look at the cutaway itself because they're just gonna show it.
In the same episode,
so it's another assault joke, and they're like, it's pretty strong. Again, correlation between AI or content farms, even if it's not AI, which I think it is because the blue shell thing, content farms and not understanding consent. I feel these things are connected. Or even just like AI, like let's say AI wrote the whole script like that. It says that jokes like that are funny. I don't know, man. Like if it's an AI script, then the AI said that it was funny. So no one actually said that it was funny. It was just an AI, but maybe they chose to put it in. I have no idea. I just think it's weird. And I used it as an opportunity to talk about the relationship between AI and consent.
Ooh, poor Jeremy. At least he's okay.
Jeremy,
what
for
was
a favor,
that?
since Jeremy Renner asked me to shovel out his driveway. In light of recent events, Jeremy, could old Pete borrow your skis?
Ooh, poor Jeremy. At least he's okay now.
this is the first season in 8.
What was that? Why is he praising SA so much knowing his audience is iPad kids? I'd love to sensationalize it as being sinister, but it's probably just AI making very base observations on jokes. That's probably all it is. As much as I'd love to say that, like, because the person behind the channel uses AI, they, like, don't believe in consent or whatever, as much as I'd love to paint my ideological opponents in that way, that's probably not the case. It's probably just that the AI chooses those sorts of videos. In fact, no villains are safe. You better hope you're AI. If no villains are safe is who would have thought that me going into this video that no villains are safe being AI is the better outcome. That makes them look better. If they're not AI, they're worse. AI does like to make very insensitive comments on jokes like that. I noticed. All right. This means nothing. This means absolutely nothing. This is a nonsense video. This was a excuse to do a Family Guy Funny Moments compilation and allow it to be on a monetized channel. That was the whole video.